Hey, this is Patrick Riddle with PrivateMoneyBlueprint.com, and wanted to do a couple things here. Wanted to give you a tour of my new office out here on Isle of Palms, and also I just hired a new team member in my investing business, and we get a lot of questions from members from time to time on team building and how to go from being a solopreneur to actually building a business. And so I wanted to break down my hiring process, and specifically with Pamela, the new team member, how I set up her position, compensation, etc. So let's kick things off with a tour, and here we go. Alright, I set a goal a little over a year ago to get an office on the water, and a couple weeks ago just moved in, and man oh man, I'm loving it. Check it out here on the bookcase, prominently displayed my Private Money Blueprint Home Study Course. And check it out here. We've got a desk over here. We've still got some stuff to do to outfit the rest of the office here, but it's definitely coming together. And got a little bathroom over here, a little storage closet back there. Now we come to one of the most important pieces in the office here. Yes, the coffee maker, and also the Diamond Springs water cooler. I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure of experiencing Diamond Springs water cooler, but it's fantastic. I highly suggest it. And then the back office here, my desk, which I'll show you in a moment, and the view. But actually this wall here I'm going to turn into a giant whiteboard. And I'm not sure if you've ever seen this. They have whiteboard paint where you can just paint on the wall and it just creates a gigantic whiteboard. So looking forward to getting that done. But here's my desk. Got another bookcase back here. And then the view. This sits right on the Intercoastal Waterway, right near Breeches Inlet on Isle of Palms, in between Isle of Palms and Sullivan's Island. Give you a quick peek at the view out here, but man oh man, I'm absolutely loving it. And alright, so now I'm going to close this door. Maybe that'll make it a little quieter, but let me get the camera set up, and then I'll break down the new team member I brought on board and my hiring process. Because if you're still wearing all the hats as a real estate investor and doing everything, basically you've just created a job for yourself. And I'm a huge proponent in team building and the fact that business is a team sport. And so I want to share some ideas with you that I think can help you take those first steps. And my process in hiring, well, I mean, let's just say that you're at a point in your business, maybe you have a small rental portfolio, and you know you're doing everything. You're doing the books, you're looking for all the deals and doing the contracting and phone calls with sellers and handling all the details with closings, and handling all your property management. Maybe one of the first hires that you would consider would be a property manager to take all the back end once you acquire a rental property from then on, to take that off your plate. Or maybe a great first person to bring on board would just be a bookkeeper. Maybe the books are something that you hate doing and that you procrastinate on anyway, and maybe you don't even do a good job, I don't know, but that can be an easy hire to bring on board and just take one more thing or one thing off your plate. For me, my first hire once I got started as a real estate investor was a personal / professional assistant, just to take care of just a lot of the details and things off my plate so that I could spend more of my time on more important profit producing actions in the business. And so if you're thinking about bringing someone on, first things first, you want to clarify the position. Clarify exactly what you want someone to come on and do for you. That's first thing. You got to really know what you want. After that, my next step is I always seek referrals, and have found that typically referrals turn out to be the best sources for all-star team members. And what I start to do is just once I've decided, okay, I want to bring on someone to do X and to have this position with this responsibilities and handle these tasks, then I just, in daily conversation with anyone that I talk to, I mean, many times they're like, well, Patrick, what have you been up to? And so I tell them blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, and also I'm hiring someone in my investment business, and so I'm pretty excited about that. And typically, just by tossing out just a little info there over a few-week period, I end up getting some referrals. And in this scenario, in my investment business, and I'm going to break down the exact position that Pamela is coming in to fill, but I just started telling people that I was about to hire someone. I got 3 referrals, and these are from, you know, friends and associates and people that I know in town. And one of the referrals was a woman named Pamela, and it came from a good friend of mine who she actually used to work for his business, which is also a similar type real estate investing business. And she has a background working at different real estate brokerages. She used to be an agent. Anyway, but I got that referral, and like typically, like within, you know, depending on how fast I want to hire someone, if I haven't gotten a good referral or someone that I think can work for me, then I go and hit Craigslist. And here's what I would suggest that you do if you end up posting something on Craigslist in order to look for a new team member to fill whatever position. I suggest that you make people follow just a few specific steps in a process. And you know, maybe one of the things that you first require is that they you know, send over email to a specific email address, their resume, and answer 3 questions for you. And maybe you have like 3 or 4 different small steps initially. And what you'll find is a lot of times people don't follow the simple steps that you outline, and then you can immediately disqualify them. I mean, you may find that out of everyone that responds to your ad, you know, only 20 to 30% actually follow the steps that you outline. So that's a really easy way to disqualify a lot of people, and then even put them through a next step. Maybe then after, you know, you've got that whittled down to a smaller bunch, then you make them fill out a super long questionnaire that asks them, you know, all kinds of information, and maybe take them through a couple other steps before you ever even talk to anybody on the phone, just so you can see if people can follow some simple steps. So that'll help you with qualifying or with disqualifying the majority of applicants or people who show some interest. So once you have some interested potential prospects that you want to take that next step with, then I just set up a get-to-know-you call. I mean, usually just on the phone I can get a pretty good idea as to whether or not they may be a fit. And it's really just a get-to-know-you call where I hop on and just say, hey, you know, tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you like to do? You know, I don't just talk business. And then just use the call to fill them out in general. I usually let them know just a little bit about, you know, the specific business model that we have and the idea for the position that I'm looking to fill. And that's just the first step for me. Then if they basically pass that get-to-know-you call, then I just set up a talk about the details meeting, where then I go through all the further details on clarifying exactly what the position is and the idea for how we would get started if things worked out. And then after that, if they then pass that meeting, then I actually make them an offer. And what I love to do with any potential team members when getting started is just to set up a test period where just for a short period of time, maybe it's 30 days, 60, 90 days, whatever. For instance, with Pamela, we set up a 60-day test period. And I explained to her that, you know, this test period is for me to figure out whether or not I feel that you're a good fit for the position, for working with us. And it's also a chance for you to figure out whether or not this is something that you're interested in doing. And so a lot of times just the idea of a short test period kind of makes things a little bit more comfortable for everybody. And so I would suggest when you do find a good prospect and you've talked through all those details about the specifics with the position and the responsibilities and tasks and everything, I would suggest discussing or agreeing to a short test period. And you know, at the end of that test period, you're both basically committing to your agreement for that test period, and then at the end of that, then you decide whether or not to move forward or whether or not to tweak and adjust things. And one thing that's probably on your mind is, well, how do you set up compensation? And there's a few different ways that you could, a lot of different ways that you could. I mean, you could pay somebody by the hour. You could pay them a flat fee or base rate, you know, plus some kind of, you know, bonus or commission, or you could pay them just off of straight commission, off of properties that you flip or close or whatever. A lot of different ways that you could set it up. I mean, you could even split a percentage of profits with a team member that you bring on. And, you know, it just depends on what team member that you're bringing on, what they're doing for you. And also, anyone that you are considering hiring, of course, find out what kind of what have they been making in their previous jobs, what kind of expectations of pay did they have, you know, what is their ideal goal to be at income-wise, and then use all that information to just package up what works, what you know works for them based on the info you gathered, and what works for you in your business. And so SPLAT, there's some different ideas in the process that I typically go through, which is pretty simple when bringing on a new team member. And now, let me tell you just a little bit about Pamela's role specifically in my investment business. And I'm really excited. Her overall role will grow over time, her entire position. But initially in our test period, we're going to be focusing on just one small part of the overall role and getting her trained and getting excellent results in that specific part of the position. And her overall role will eventually consist of basically 3 different areas. Area number 1 will be lead harvesting and list segmenting. We do a lot of direct mail. If you were in our Investor Profits on Demand program, then you've learned recently about some direct mail campaigns that we're doing that are just crushing it. That allowed us to quickly, as soon as we started them, start flipping properties pretty darn easily by tapping into just a brand new source of deals. But anyway, so Pamela's position will eventually be harvesting the different leads that we target through direct mail, segmenting our list, and coordinating with our direct mail company to get those off the ground. Also, the second part of the overall position is from contact with our seller leads that we're driving, handling contact to appointment, which consists of handling all the incoming calls from sellers, qualifying those leads, doing preliminary due diligence, and then setting up appointments for my partner Dusty to go in and negotiate when it makes sense. And so she's going to be handling contact to appointment. And that's the part of her overall position where we're going to start her and where we're going to focus all of her efforts initially. But the third part of her overall position eventually is then helping with the transactional steps and coordination and organization from contract to close. So all those little detailed steps and whatnot, from as soon as we get a contract on a property to then all the way taking it to the closing table. And so that's her overall position. We're getting her started just handling contact to appointment. And I've mentioned a couple different ways that you could structure pay. And the way that we've structured for this test period with Pamela is that we're paying a base amount plus commission on the properties that we flip. And her base rate, we're paying $250 per week. Plus we're doing a small percentage commission off of the deals that we flip and close. And so there you go. There's some information on my hiring process. You know, if you're a solopreneur, if you're wearing all the hats, I highly recommend you bring a team member on board. Don't procrastinate anymore. You know, there's some fears that you may have to break through in order to take that step, but I say take it, do it, because that's going to allow you more time to focus on what you like doing and what's most vitally important to actually helping the business and your income and profits grow. Hope you've enjoyed this office tour and information on hiring and building your business. This has been Patrick Riddle with Private Money Blueprint. We'll see you again soon.